Hi, today we will be stretching and talking about things I wish that I knew when I first started working out. I didn't learn a lot of these things till recently though, and I've been working out for a hot minute, so okay. I'm also going to be stretching, but I'm not really going to be explaining it because that's not the main point of this video. Also, I do have a little bitty baby cold, so if I sound funnier than usual, that's why. Please excuse that. So first thing I wish I knew when I was starting out is that you need to eat. You need to eat food. And starting off strong was something that seemed self-explanatory, but it really was not to me. I thought that I was built different. Bruh. I wasn't built different. I wasn't built that different, that's for sure. So a little history about me is before I started going to the gym, I was a super competitive athlete. I did gymnastics. The trainings usually lasted 3.5, 4 hours, 5 days a week. So it was pretty intense. I understood that when you're more active, you burn more calories. What I didn't understand was even if you do nothing all day but sit in a chair, you still need calories. So when I quit gymnastics, first of all, I already felt really bad about myself. I felt like a failure in life. I felt like I didn't deserve good things. And I thought, hey, I'm not active anymore. I don't really do anything but just exist, which means I don't need food because I'm not expending energy. That is not true. Everybody might not struggle with this, but I think some people probably relate in some way that they feel they only need or deserve food when they've done exercise, which isn't true. You need food just for your heart to beat and your skin to regenerate and your hair to grow. So that's called a BMR. You can find that online. If you're cutting, don't go below that. Don't do these freaking 1200 calorie diets. That's not good for anybody except for a little baby. So that's something I wish I knew. Next thing I wish I knew is you don't have to change your workout routine like every single week. It doesn't need to be radically different. In fact, it probably shouldn't be radically different depending on what your goals are. You should be doing the same or similar exercises pretty consistently, incorporating progressive overload in order to improve. Because if you're always switching it up super radically every single week, your body is not going to have the opportunity to adapt. So unless your main goal is just to try every single exercise in the world, don't worry about it, okay? Next thing I wish that I had realized sooner was full body workouts for 2.5 hours, 6 days a week isn't always the best. In fact, for most people, it's probably not the best. If you really enjoy doing full body workouts like that, I'm definitely not gonna tell you to stop if that's something you enjoy, but it might be making it more difficult for you to reach your goals, depending on what your goals are. You know, it made it more difficult for me. There's just not enough rest time in between the days, not enough time for your body to recuperate and kind of get better and grow. Now I like a push-pull leg split with legs twice a week. You don't have to do that. You could do a bro split. You could do push-pull legs. You could do something else. There's not any one best split. So that's also something I wish I knew. That one workout is not insanely better than the other. There's no reason you should constantly be looking for the most optimal workout, because that's just ridiculous, okay? You should be looking for some workouts that are optimal and will help you reach your goals. And don't be afraid to include workouts you just enjoy, you know? I wish I had realized that sooner and stopped just searching for the most optimal thing, because you're just gonna be overwhelmed. And it's not really that big of a deal. Next, I wish that I had realized you don't have to be working out for like 2 hours every day or every time you work out in order to see results. In fact, that might be too much for some people. A lot of workouts can be squished, depending on what kind of workout you're doing, okay? If you're powerlifting, those do rely more on longer rest times in general, so you'll probably have a longer workout in general. But for like other workouts where you can even progressive overload with just shortening the rest time, you don't have to be at the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours. You don't have to feel bad if you were only there for an hour. And kind of along those same lines, you don't have to be killing yourself every workout in order to consider it a good workout. You don't have to feel like death in order to consider it a good workout. Sometimes you might just go to the gym and walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes and just do that. That's fine. Not every workout has to be insane. I still have an injured left hamstring, so stretching kind of sucks. All right, something else I wish that I had learned sooner. And honestly, this is one that I already knew. Like a lot of these things, I really did know in my heart of hearts, but I just didn't want to accept it, okay? If you stay too lean for too long, you are not going to be having a good time, okay? You're gonna be having a bummer of a time. In general, women and people taking certain hormones, and especially people on birth control, like hormonal birth control, it can cause weight gain and it can just make it harder to lose weight. You might have less energy as well, so you might not even have the energy to work out. That's just an unfortunate side effect. There's a lot of negative side effects to hormonal birth control, but I'm not your doctor. I'm not about to talk about that. Anyway, back to the moral of the story. Applies for everybody. If you stay at too low of a body percent for too long, you are not going to be having a good time, okay? I have some crazy stories actually from when I was younger and I used to be very lean all the time. So for women, you will lose your period. I know that sounds great. It's really not. Low energy, poor sleep quality, low libido, I think. You can also get low libido from hormonal birth control as well though. Your hair might start to fall out. Your skin will be dull. A lot of these things also apply to men. All around, you're just not gonna be feeling pleasant. One time, I sent my body into starvation mode. Literally the worst thing ever. It was like panic. And I couldn't stop eating to the point where my stomach almost exploded. Literally had to go to the ER. Bruh. Anyway, that's perhaps a story for another time. But I wish, because I knew this. I knew it, okay? But I didn't want to accept it, that you can't be that lean all the time. It's just not healthy. Something else that I wish that I had kind of accepted is how you train will affect the way your physique looks. And I know that sounds self-explanatory, but let me explain myself. So I really like lifting heavy, and I really like working out in a hypertrophy sort of way. But especially when I first started working out, I just wanted to be skinny. I really didn't care about being strong, but it felt good when I was working out to be strong. So that's the way that I'd work out. But I didn't want my body to look like that. I just wanted to be skinny. So there was definitely a dissonance, and I gained a lot of muscle, even though at that same time I was not eating well. I was eating like no protein. My body just decided, frick nutrition, we're building muscle anyway. But besides the point, sometimes I still struggle with this, and it contributes to my body dysmorphia. So I should really start focusing on self-love and giving my body a break and being like, hey, you're still beautiful, body. I don't know if that made sense, but anyway. Okay, lastly, you don't have to be perfect all the time, okay? I feel like I missed out on a lot, especially when I was younger, and I was just too stressed. Okay, so it's good to give yourself a little break. And it's okay to miss a workout every now and then. And it's okay to go out and eat and not track your food. I don't want anyone to tell me like, Patty, that just lacks discipline. Like, there's a balance, okay? You don't have to take my advice by any means, but this is just something I wish that I had done earlier in my fitness journey. I also learned this fairly recently, I think like in 2020 or 2021, because that's when gyms closed in my area. So I wasn't really able to obsess about the gym the way that I had previously. And I also just kind of stopped caring about the way my body looked. But I learned that that's when I was the happiest with my body, which is kind of ironic. I was the happiest with my body when I stopped hyper-focusing on it. So that's also something to take into account. I think that that's all that I have in mind at the moment. I'm sure there's a ton of other things that would be good to know, and I'm still learning. I think it's good to always keep an open mind in everything, even fitness. Even if you've been doing this for 2 decades, there's still something that you can learn. I don't think anybody out there has it all figured out. So you don't have to feel like you have it all figured out either. Just give yourself a break every now and then. Don't be so hard on yourself. Obviously, while you're in that zone of working out, work out. Kill it, give it your all. Pour your heart, soul, tears into that, but don't let it bring you down. Okay? When it's something that's lifting you up, great. That's awesome. We love that. When it's something that's bringing you stress and making you feel bad about yourself, you need to reevaluate. Because we can't have you feeling bad about yourself, okay? That's just no bueno. Major silly goose activities in a bad way. So, that's it. I hope this was helpful in some way. If it wasn't helpful, I'm sorry. Maybe you can let me know how it can be helpful in the future. Okay, bye.